In today's video, we are going to go through two of my favorite ChatGPT prompts to help you prep for your interviews. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Katie. I'm a coach at Career Sprout, where we help folks navigate the job search process, land high-paying jobs, at companies they really admire, doing something that they really love. So with that, let's dive in. All right, before we dive in here, I'm going to give a disclaimer that these are going to be two prompts. They're my favorites because they help you be the best version of yourself, essentially. The goal of using ChatGPT is not to pretend like you know everything that AI algorithm knows. And that is a very important distinction that I like to make with our students. There's a reason why we prep with them before their interviews as often as we do, and why our stats compared to the average job seeker. It is not because we leverage ChatGPT. As a matter of fact, it is because we leverage the actual person and make sure that they are very authentic to who they are and they show up as the best version of themselves. So that is a very important disclaimer, that this is a great tool, but it does not replace you being authentically you. So let's dive in here. Of course, there's two parts to the interview. One is the interviewer asking you questions. The other is you responding to those questions. And then hopefully, you lobbing some questions back to the interviewer so that it feels very conversational. So one of the scariest parts is, what if they ask me a question that I'm not prepared for? What do I do then? So a really great way to get a good idea of the types of questions that they would be asking, and a way for you to practice on the spot, so to speak, is to use this prompt. And I will leave them right below. So let's say you are applying for senior technical program manager roles. If you use this prompt, what happens is ChatGPT becomes your interviewer. And a funny thing, they always start the same way an exact interview starts. Just, can you tell me a little bit more about your experience, or tell me about yourself, or why were you interested in this job? Some version of that. So what you can actually do is you can use Otter.ai to just practice speaking, and it will immediately transcribe it for you. Or you can go ahead and just practice saying it out loud and then type your response in here so that ChatGPT can, continue the conversation. Or let's say you want to just know, hey, I just want to know what types of questions would they ask me, and then I can prep on my own from there. You can simply say, can you share the next 10 questions? And they will give you, it will give you a list of questions. This is a really great way for you to start prepping for your interviews, to say, how would I respond to these? Do I have experience doing these things that they're asking me for? And have those. I'm a big fan. Our students all use the STAR format to articulate their responses to these questions. So that's the first prompt. So that is to help you get an idea of what questions they may ask you, and then prep for your responses. Now, let's say you get these questions and you're really not sure, how to answer them. Or even better, the recruiter or the hiring manager gives you the questions that you're going to be asked beforehand, and you don't actually know how you're going to answer them. So, or you just want a little bit of help. Hopefully you do know how. Hopefully you do have the experience. Again, this is not to replace your experience. This is to help you articulate what you've been able to do in a very appealing way. So let's say you know the questions, and you now want to present yourself, as we always share. You want to be happy, humble, hungry in your interviews. So let's say you are in product and you are applying to Netflix, and you get these questions beforehand. What you want to type into ChatGPT, and of course, I will leave this below as well. You want to be able to feed it that information of how you want it to respond to you. So I would love for you to act as a VP of product who's an expert in, whatever the things are they're going to be checking you on in this specific round of the interview. And then please respond to the following questions in a way that's confident, humble, and shows you're hungry to grow with the company. So let's say these are the 4 questions that you know. Now, it will give you some pretty stellar responses. Sometimes you need to tweak it, and this is where it's very important that you have knowledge, or you're working with a coach that has knowledge of these things of, okay, well, that's kind of there, but that's not actually what the recruiter, that's not actually what the hiring manager is looking for. But essentially, you will get really great responses. And then if there's anything you don't understand, or anything that you think they're going to ask you to elaborate on, very simple, you can just say, can you please elaborate on your response to question 4. And then once you'll have to wait for it to stop generating, and then right there, more than happy to respond and share, why they did respond the way that they did. And this, again, this is not, okay, you should not copy and paste this and then just read the script. That's most likely going to get you in trouble. Instead, what you should do is use this to see, are there any gaps? Are they, like, is this thinking about this scenario or this case study differently than I would have thought about it? And from there, you can really become a very valuable candidate who has thought through multiple different scenarios, thought through multiple case studies, whatever the case may be, in different ways. And then here's the best part. That's not actually even what gets you the job. Yes, that's a big part of it. What really gets you the job is then being able to be you, authentically you, and use these things as your framework, and then ask questions, make it conversational, make it consultative, where you are asking them questions. And that's, again, something else that you can use ChatGPT to help you prep for. But then in the moment of your interview, if you are somebody that just uses this as a study guide and not somebody who's trying to cheat on the test, you are going to just bolster your answers and then it's going to calm those nerves so that you can let you and who you are really shine through in the interview, which is a very, very important distinction that I always make. As soon as we introduce, or if we introduce ChatGPT to somebody, I always make sure it's, hey, this is a tool to essentially help you calm your nerves so that you can be the best version of yourself in these interviews. So hopefully that helps you calm some of your nerves as you are prepping for interviews, and I will see you guys in the next one. Talk soon.